I'm Jamie from the Not So Wimpy Teacher. I'm really excited to talk to you today about brag tags. I really love using brag tags as a way to motivate, encourage, and reward my students for positive behavior, for academic goals, and for character traits. However, I have seen a lot of people use brag tags in a way that made it stressful for them, and so they ended up quitting halfway through the year. I've been using brag tags for many years, and so I've come up with some tips along the way that make implementing brag tags much easier and keep them meaningful for all of your students. So I'm going to share a few of my tips and my ideas for you. First of all, let's talk about how to prep those brag tags for your students. I get this question a lot, so I think I would just go ahead and address it. First thing you're going to do is you're going to decide which brag tags you're using, and you're going to want to go ahead and print them. I print mine on cardstock because it does make it more durable, and you do want them to last all year for the kids. You don't want them ripping and rolling up and bending. So I do recommend cardstock if you're able to. After I print, I go ahead and laminate. Some people like to cut first and then laminate. I think that is a lot more work. So I go ahead and laminate I cut after I laminate. So I have a personal Scotch laminator that I've been using for years. I go ahead and stick them through my laminator. Some people do not laminate, and that is a personal choice of yours. I go ahead and laminate because I know that they'll last all year for my students, and I want that. After you laminate, you're going to need to cut out the tags. If you have a paper cutter, that makes it fast. If you have a older child in your home, that makes it faster. If you can bribe them to cut for you, that'll make it quicker, okay? After you cut, you are going to want to hole punch the tag, just a small hole at the top, so that when students receive them, they'll be able to stick them on their necklace, okay? You can just use a normal hole punch like this. I have seen where people have taken a 3-hole punch and they've stuck 3 tags in at once and then pushed it down. And even better, if you happen to be a crafter and have a crocodile, they work really well, okay? But a regular hole punch will work. Again, if you have an older child, parent, volunteer, or husband that you can get to do this for you, that's even better. All right, so that's how we get our brag tags ready. Let's talk a little bit about awarding the tags, okay? Because I think this is where it can make or break your brag tag experience. Some teachers have a whole bunch of tags and they're just giving them out all the time at the beginning of the year. I don't do that because that's just a lot of work for me. That's a lot to keep up with. That's a lot for me to remember. And after a while, I know I would stop handing them out very often. Also, I think that when students are given the tags constantly, they aren't as motivating. So instead, I choose to do a weekly ceremony. Every Friday morning, I built it into my lesson plan to have 10 minutes for our brag tag ceremony. My kids look forward to this all week because I make it a big deal. We all come to the carpet and we cheer for each other when we're getting a tag. And by the way, I taught 3rd grade and they work brilliantly in 3rd grade. I think brag tags are fabulous for K through 5 at least. I even had a teacher who said she uses them in high school. So if you are excited about the brag tags, your kids will be too, regardless of their grade level. And I think having that one ceremony in front of everybody makes it feel special to earn a brag tag. It also means that I don't have to be carrying them around and passing them out all week. And since brag tag ceremony, those 10 minutes are just written into my Friday lesson plans, I don't forget. And my students won't let me forget anyway. I get asked, well, how am I going to remember during the week who should get what brag tag? And a couple of things. If you happen to be working with a student, maybe you're in small groups or you're walking around observing students and you see something amazing, right? Maybe that kiddo who has been struggling with the problem-solving strategy that you're teaching, and you finally see him use it and maybe even tell his partner how he solved. You're like, whoa, that was awesome. Take this math goal brag tag. It's laminated, but if you take a Sharpie, write his name on the back and just stick it. If you have a Friday drawer, or a Friday folder, or somewhere where you can just stick these and keep them safe till Friday, then you won't forget to give it to him on Friday. Okay? Now, some students need immediate response, and that's fine because you can go up to him and you can say, oh my goodness, Johnny, I just heard you teach your partner this problem-solving strategy, and I am so incredibly proud of you. I wonder if there will be something special for you this week at the brag tag ceremony. Okay? Now, he's super pumped. He's like counting the days till Friday, and all the kids around him, too, are like, ooh, she's handing out brag tags. It reminds them. I better step up my game and do my best as well. The other question I get asked about the weekly ceremonies is, how are you keeping track of who got which tag? And my answer to you is, I don't keep track. If you want to keep track, make yourself a spreadsheet, put all the tags you have available and all your students' names, and then cross them off as you get them. But I don't think it's necessary, okay? And here's why. I don't know if you or someone you know was a baseball card collector when you were growing up. I actually loved to collect them. And there were certain players that were my favorites. And I couldn't wait to get lots of that person's card. I got excited every single time a pack had his card in it. So brag tags are similar. So what if you have a kid who gets outstanding behavior 3, 4, 5 times during the year? It's okay. They can add another tag to their necklace. And at the end of the year, when they're really looking at all their tags, they're going to go, wow, I got a lot of the outstanding behavior. I must have really done a great job at behavior this year. They're not going to mind getting a tag more than once, right? Now, there are some tags that you might choose to use, like AR points or math facts, that you kind of need to keep track of something that's necessary to earn the tag. But my guess is if this is something you do, you probably already have to keep track of that. So if you are using AR points, then you probably already have to keep track of their AR points. So it's nothing additional. For math facts, you probably do some sort of assessment. You already know which students have mastered math facts. So I would not do anything extra to keep track of who's gotten which tag, okay? The other thing is sometimes on Friday, I'm just sitting down and I'm like thinking about my week going, you know what? These 3 kids, when I think about my week, those 3 kids really stand out to me. And so I give them a super week tag, right? If they just really were on top of it that week, whether it was academically or behavior, whatever it was, it doesn't have to be super like scientific, okay? What's important is that students are earning these brag tags. You are not just giving them away. And so what this means is, at my weekly ceremony, all of my students are not going to get a tag. If I just gave all of my students a tag every week, it would not be motivating. So in my classroom, it's limited. I might give 10 tags one week, and I might get 5 the next week. You might go several weeks without getting a tag, and that's okay, because no one is getting a tag every week in my class. I do make them work and earn the tag, and I think that's what makes it more meaningful for my students. All right, the other tip I have about awarding brag tags is that you need to be comfortable being the brag tag boss. At the beginning of the year, I let my students know that I will decide who gets what brag tag and when they get that tag. They can't come up to me and say, hey, Mrs. Sears, I did this. Can I have a brag tag? My answer will always be no if they do that. Let them know that. I'm the boss, and I'll decide what behavior will earn a tag, and you can't ask for them. Mostly this is because it's crazy annoying when kids are constantly coming up to you like, can I have a tag? Can I have a tag? Nope. I'll decide, and it will be a surprise to you on Friday. Okay? Now, the other reason that I let my kids know that really I will decide is because brag tags aren't necessarily fair in my classroom. Meaning there isn't just one behavior that will earn you the tag. Maybe it's a homework tag. And I have a kiddo who always turns in his homework. Maybe he got a tag for it once, but that kiddo does not need to be motivated to do their homework. They clearly already have that goal mastered. But there's Bobby. Bobby's never turning in his homework, and suddenly this one week he turns in all of his homework. That week, I'm going to give Bobby a homework tag. I'm going to give that other kiddo a homework tag because that's really not a goal I need to motivate them on. Maybe they're working more on something academic, like maybe in writing. They're really struggling to use their independent time wisely in writing. And so maybe that's their goal. And so I tell them that there is not one thing you can do to earn this tag. I will decide, and it will be different for each student. So that's why I have to be in charge of it. I think that this helps my students to realize that they have individual goals, and I have individual goals for them. So if they're already doing an amazing job with homework, then I want to push and motivate them to grow somewhere else, because we can always get better. We're not perfect. So feel free to be the boss. And you know what? Every now and again, give that little one who always does her homework, give her a tag because it's going to motivate the rest of the class. Say, gosh, she always does her homework. I can always count on her, so I'm going to give her a tag today. But you don't have to give her a tag every week just because she did her homework every week. Okay? So know that you can differentiate these tags based on your learner's needs. All right. Talk about limiting the tags. So I think this is the number one thing that teachers do that makes them go a little crazy with the brag tags is that they print every tag, right? They've got like 80 different tags and they're overwhelmed. I would be too. That's a lot of tags to keep up with. And I would constantly feel like I wasn't doing a good job. So give yourself permission to limit the number of tags that are available. You don't have to print every tag in a set. Buy a set that has a good variety and then choose the tags that best meet your classroom's needs. Okay? So each year I will always print some of these more vague tags, like super weak. This can be used for a million different things, right? Outstanding behavior. That can be used for lots of things. I like ones like that say math goal, reading goal, because it's not super specific. This could be used for math facts. It could be used for a math test. It could be used for a math group. There's lots of different reasons you could use this, okay? So my teacher was proud. This could be used for almost anything. It could be used for getting to class on time or good cafeteria behavior, right? It's vague enough that I can use it for lots of different situations. So I think you should print some of those. That way you always have a tag you can use for that certain kiddo, right? Now you also want to pick some tags for specific classroom goals and classroom needs. So, if you are doing AR points, you might choose to do AR tags. If math facts are something you're focusing on right now in your classroom, you might want to print the math fact tags, right? Maybe you're having a huge problem with handwriting in your class. It just seems to be a challenge for the majority of your students. Then print a handwriting tag so that you can use it to motivate your students to make those necessary improvements in their penmanship. So these may change. I print these vague tags. I print enough for the year, okay? Hopefully. I can't totally predict it, but I will go ahead and print several sheets of these and have these ready because they can be used for so many things. And then I'll pick a few for the beginning of the year, like maybe clean desk, some of the ones maybe a character trait, like see here, character trait of caring. We know at the beginning of the year we want to work on being caring. Maybe we want to work on optimism. If you have a growth mindset classroom, you might be working on accepting challenges. So pick a few of these that you know you want to work on. And then throughout the year, as you get to know your kiddos, you may want to add a tag based on what you're noticing in your room. And if you add a tag, feel free to take one away. If you're like, you know what, I never give out this tag. It just doesn't seem to be one I hand out enough, then remove it and replace it with one you will, so that you don't feel like you're not using the program, okay? Also, if you feel like you're not necessarily giving out a tag that you want to, like that accepting challenges, you really want to give this, then take a few out in the morning before your kids come in and set it on top of your lesson plan book or your teacher binder or on top of your cell phones. More you're going to see it a lot. Maybe you've got 3 tags and you're like, I am going to find 3 people who earned this tag today. And you don't have to hand it to them. You can wait till Friday, but write their name on the back of it so that you know that you handed it out. Okay? Another fun thing you can do is have a tag or 2 of the month. And it can be character traits or academic or behavior, but explain to kids, like maybe you're working on cursive. And so you make the cursive tag available to them one month. And you say, you know what? I am looking for students who are working extra hard on their cursive. By saying this, it doesn't mean that only the neatest people can earn it. It gives you permission to give it to the student who's growing. Maybe they don't have the best cursive, but they work the hardest, right? And so you can make this tag available, and maybe you can put it up on your whiteboard with some tape or a magnet to remind students, like, hey, don't forget, this is a tag we're focusing on this month. At the beginning of the month, you can just tell them about it. Like, I'm just really looking for students who are working hard on their cursive, that aren't just racing through it, okay? Maybe it's bucket filler is your tag for August, and you read the bucket filler book and you tell them that you are looking for students who are filling their classmates' buckets. And that's going to be something you're specifically looking for in the month of August, or whatever month it is that you choose. I would suggest maybe having 12 or 15 tags available at one time. That way you're not overwhelmed with like 50 different possible tags. And if you do fine with those 12 or 15 and you want to add extra, why, of course, go for it. But don't start off with so many that you don't feel like you can be successful with the program. And honestly, your kids don't need a million different tags to feel motivated. Those vague ones can be used for so many reasons, and when you award them on Friday or whatever day your ceremony is, and you tell the whole class why that kiddo earned that tag, it just feels super good to be recognized. And they don't exactly care what the tag says specifically, right? So limit the amount of tags you give out. It'll make it so much easier. Let's talk a little about this necklace. I get so many questions. This is called a ball chain necklace. My 3rd graders are able to manage these necklaces with absolutely no problem. And I have teacher friends who use these in 1st and 2nd grade with absolutely no problem. My students, it takes a little bit at the beginning of the year if they've never used a ball chain necklace to learn how to open it, but 99% of them will learn it really quickly. And then that one little kiddo who's still struggling, his neighbor will help him. Okay. These ball chain necklaces can be purchased at most craft stores. I have purchased them at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's before. Sometimes you buy them already cut. Sometimes you can buy them in a roll and you can just cut them yourself. I get 24-inch for my 3rd graders. They work really well. 24-inch seems to be common. You can order these on Amazon really inexpensive too, especially if you're a Prime member. And they have bigger sets, so if you have a teammate who's also using brag tags, you can maybe go in together and get like a larger set of the necklaces. But they don't break. Like, I've used them for years. I used brag tags for years, and I have not had a student break their necklace yet. So I think that's really great. Now, some teachers prefer to use like key rings and jump rings for them and attach them to their backpacks. I personally find that my students are most motivated by this necklace that they get to wear, and that the tags don't have as much wear and tear on them. Now, I have my brag tag ceremony on Friday. So a lot of people say, where do you put your necklaces the rest of the time? Students in my class keep their brag tag necklace in their pencil box that's kept in their desk. So it's their responsibility. They were third graders, so you'll have to decide in your grade level what's appropriate, but I never had a student lose their necklace. On Friday, we have our brag tag ceremony, and then every student in my class is able to wear their necklace all day on Friday. And then at the end of the day when we're packing up, they take their necklace off, put it back in their pencil box. We'll continue adding tags to their necklace all year. So by the end of the year, they're wearing a necklace with a lot of tags on it. And it's fun. They're super excited about that. On the very last day of school, they bring their brag tag necklace home with them. I do not recollect these because they have worked so hard to earn them. They are super excited to take them home to show their siblings, their parents. And my own daughter was in my class 3 years ago, and she still has her brag tag necklace. So it's something really special and meaningful to them because they worked all year to earn it. All right? So that's a little about how I use my brag tag necklace. I know that some people have room on their wall, and they'll put like a little label with their student's name or number on it, and a push pin, and then the students can hang their necklaces from it all week. And that's fantastic too. I didn't have the space for that, so the pencil box worked perfectly. All right, let's talk a little about storing these brag tags. So you've got all these little brag tags that you prepped ahead of time because that saves you loads of time when you're stressed during the school year. And you're going to need somewhere to store them. I did write an entire blog post with brag tag storage ideas, pictures, links. And so I went ahead and put a link to that blog post in the description of this video for you. But I want to take a moment and show you some brag tag storage ideas. I got this container from Michael's, and they have one similar to it online. And again, in my blog post, you'll find the links to it. It's perfect for my brag tags. These little containers come right out, and they perfectly hold brag tags. I love it. I mean, the size could not be more perfect. I love these little containers because, like I said, maybe there's one brag tag that you just kind of keep forgetting about, or you're having a hard time awarding. You would take the whole little tub out and just set it next to your lesson plans as a nice reminder. And this keeps 16 different tags in it, which I think is nice. I think having 16 tags available at any given time is plenty. So I think this is a really great storage for those brag tags. Something kind of similar is like a nail and screw hardware box. Once you can get these types of things at Walmart and stores like that, you can buy them on Amazon. And this one here is from the Container Store. But they're perfect size for brag tags as well. And then to label them, all I did was print one of those tags and folded it down inside of the drawer so that I could just see the words so I know exactly which tag goes inside of this drawer. And you can fit quite a bit of tags in this drawer too. But I always know this would be my teacher is proud drawer, okay? And so those particular tags would go inside of this drawer. It's really easy. So I don't even have to prep extra labels or anything. So this is really fun way to store your brag tags so that they're visible to you and your students. All right. This is actually how I stored my brag tags in class. This craft container is amazing. You can get them at Hobby Lobby and Joann's and online. What I love about this container is that it is two-sided. So there's this side here. And then if I flip it over, there's another side to it. So you can store a ton of brag tags here. So if you want to prep more for the whole year, even though maybe you're only going to offer a certain number, maybe the ones you're currently using are on one side, and like your spares, your extra for later in the year are on the other side. It's awesome. Plus, there's even a section here that's a little larger, and I stick extra necklaces in here for students who might start in my classroom later in the year, or if I were to ever have somebody's necklace break. I love that it has a handle, and so I can cart it around the classroom with me if I need it to. Okay? it doesn't take much space at all on a shelf or cabinet. In this blog post about brag tag storage, I did include these labels if you want to grab those. They're free. Finally, another way to store brag tags, which I love because I'm kind of obsessed with binders, is a binder with baseball card protectors. It's perfect. You could grab these baseball card protectors at Walmart or on Amazon, and the tags fit nicely in here, so you can put a stack of tags in here, and then you can easily see which tags you have available to you. But it only takes an inch of space on your shelf. So it's perfect. And then you can take this whole binder out and set it on your teacher desk or teacher table to remind you to look for brag tag worthy behavior. Okay, so these are just a few ways that you could organize your brag tags. And again, I went ahead and put a link to this blog post in the description so that you can check it out. I have quite a few brag tags available in my store. The brag tag bundle, I think this is perfect for K through 5. It includes tons of academic awards, such as that math goal and reading goal and cursive and handwriting, math facts, those sorts of things. Science, writing. It also includes character trait brag tags, such as that caring, optimism, and lots of other character traits. Responsibility. It includes holiday brag tags. I don't give a ton of brag tags. I do make my students earn most of them, but every now and again, it's fun to reward your students with a holiday brag tag. Instead of buying expensive Valentine's and Halloween treats and Christmas treats, what if you put a brag tag out for them? They'll be super surprised, because if you don't do it often, then it's something new and unique. Also in that huge bundle are editable brag tags. So if you're going through all of this and you're like, this is fine and dandy, but my school has this one program or this one thing and I really want a brag tag for it, you can make your own using the editable file. Okay, so that's all in that huge bundle. I would say fantastic for K through 5. The primary grades though, great preschool, kindergarten, first grade, I know that you have even more skills to teach, and I think you probably will give out more brag tags in the older grades simply because of the kids' age. So I made another set that could be used with the brag tag bundle for some of those extra skills. So tags like, I know my phone number, I can write my letters, I can tie my shoes, I know the months of the year. I also included lots of different phonograms and digraphs so that as students master their letter sounds, you can even reward them with brag tags. I have counting, losing your tooth, writing your numbers, knowing your shapes, knowing your odds and evens. So those are all in the primary grades brag tags. Again, I would use those along with the brag tag bundle if you teach pre-K, kinder, or first. I feel the older grades probably won't need those tags, so I didn't include those in the bundle. Okay? And, of course, I want to give you some free brag tags to try out. So I have some back to school brag tags. It comes with this brag tag here that you can use to write your student's name on. That way it can be the top brag tag on their necklace so that you're never missed. Like if a necklace were to get laid out on a desk or something, you would know exactly whose it was. It also includes first day of school brag tags, and it specifically has brag tags for different grade levels that say, like this one says first day of second grade. I have first day of kindergarten, first grade, second, third, and fourth grade included in these free tags. And if you teach another grade level, you can just use this first day of school tag, okay? These are free for you, and there is a link in the description. All right, so those are some tips, some tricks to get brag tags off and running in your classroom, rewarding those students for positive academic growth, behavior, and character traits. So I hope that was helpful. Bye, guys.